Right, welcome. Another episode of Tweet Street. This is episode number 3. Thanks for everybody for watching. Nice comments. Great stuff. In this next few minutes, I was going to talk about what I do with the food for the birds in the aviary. Different times of the year varies. The fluids, the waters, the additives, etc. that I use. Bearing in mind I am a novice, and I'm sure people do things differently. Because I'm a novice, I use Facebook to gain as much information as I can, and I'm going to later on, bear with, the hats are going to have to come off to somebody later from one of the Facebook groups, which really helps novices and people that want to find out a bit more information about canaries and their breeding. So if you like what you see, please hit the like button. Please subscribe, and just share it to other people you think might find this of interest, and we'll go from there. Thank you. Okay, without any further ado, we'll talk about the seed. Obviously, mixed canary seed is a staple for the bird 24/7. Always got fresh seed in there. I buy 20 kilos at a time, probably lasts me 3 months or so. Just make sure, I like to use the smaller supplies, keeps them busy. Later on in the year we're going to be using a lot of egg food, good for the young. I'll give them a little bit before they start breeding, just to get them used to the food. You know, there's a bit of extra food coming in. The daylight hours will be longer, and they can get ready for breeding. Sometimes put in a bit of C15 NutriBird. It's like small pellets, good for vitamins, minerals. They love it. There's no waste with it as well, which is great. But it's just an alternative really for the seed. Gives them a bit of a challenge. Pearl bead, which is fantastic for the young. Use that when got young in the nest. We mix that with water, and it helps hydrate obviously the young bird in the nest, because at that time it's going to start getting very warm in the bird room, and make sure they get some fluids in as well as the food. So that's brilliant stuff for that. Later on in the year, I make my own little mix-up with Niger seed, amongst others. This is when the bird's going to molt, and makes their feathers look really nice and glossy. Linseed goes in as well. I put a bit of that in. Also put blue more in, which I'm waiting for some more to come in, and this is conditioning seed. There we go. So I'll make a little blend of all those, and then when they go into their molt, I'll start giving them a little bit of that as well. It just helps. They enjoy it as well. I'm going to put in some hemp seed as well. Also good for the feather quality, which is what we want. We are not just breeding the birds, we are showing the birds, and we want to be as good as the other guys. And in there also, the last little thing I'll put in is a bit of Thrive and Gloss. Just add stuff. They're not keen on it, but they do eat it after a while when it's all mixed in with the seed. There's the seed hopper, nice and easy to use. Just simply comes off. I fill it up. Bird feed through that small aperture. There you go. Very little waste using these, which is brilliant. Most of the stuff on the floor, yeah, is just the husk of the empty seed casing. So there we go. Food really important, obviously fresh if you can. Oh, well, it must be fresh, as is the water. Here is the water. Bit of an action shot there. Keep the water going. To keep it fresh, because I've got no running water in there, I put these purification tablets in just to make sure that water's good to use. I'll probably top that up every few days anyway, top it up rather. I empty it and then completely refill that with a purification tablet in, probably every 4 or 5 days. They use it for the bathing, they use it for the drinking. Even when it's freezing cold, they still love a bath, rather than the meat. Also with the food, I like to put in a bit of veg, a bit of fruit from time to time. They love a bit of celery, so so that they don't, I just don't throw the celery in or any of the veg. I put these little containers on the outside of the cage. So I put the veg in there. They put their little beaks through the cage fronts and chew what they want to chew. And that way they don't soil the food that's on the floor, and it's nice and easy for me to access it and clean it before, during and after. There we go, they're just going on. They're a bit of a nuisance, you have to click in, but like I say, it keeps everything good. It's nice and easy to put stuff in there. Now, I've not got to reach my hand right in the cage, which can disturb the birds, especially if they're sitting on eggs and young, and you don't want them messed around too much. You want them to do their thing. So there we go, and get a bit of celery. Other greens that I like to feed, spinach. They like spinach, watercress, kale, all the dark stuff, broccoli. If you can get that, they absolutely love it. And the darker the greens, the better for them. They like the celery, but there's no vitamin A in it, so it's not a sort of, just celery that will do. It's just, I happen to have some celery and they like it, so they have some. It's good for moisture as well. Obviously keeps the birds a bit more hydrated. And as you can see, I'll just push that because it's celery. You can push it through the bars as well, so they can have a little chomp on. Some like it more than others. They're no different from your kids. Some of them will love it, some of them will loathe it, but it's down to them if they want it or not. Like I say, we get different sorts of fruit and veg going in at any one time. Now I use an app called Olio, and here in the UK, that's a charitable food waste app, and the likes of Tesco's and other stores, any of their food waste that's going out of date that day, best before or used by, gets put on the app, and you can just go around, not Tesco's but the people that operate as a food waste hero. You go around their house and you pick up free food. So I get a lot of my vegetables for the birds free from these apps. So it's called Olio, Olio. Have a little look at it. There's probably somebody in your area doing it. There's Tesco stores all over our country, and there's other shops that are on board as well. It stops the shops wasting or sending all their food back, which, to go to dispose of, would cost them money. They save money by giving it away, and we save money by taking it off their hands for free. So there you go. That's why I get a lot of the fruit and the veg. It's all free. That all helps the hobby pay for itself, obviously. Water comes out the tap. Obviously there's a bit of a cost in the tablets, but they last for ages. The seed itself, that 20 kilo bag of seed, cost me just less than £23. And like I say, that will do as the basic food for probably 3 months. And I go to a shop over in Oakham, here in England, and that's sort of a small concern, but they have absolutely everything in. They cater from horses, dogs, cats, small rodents, the lot, and obviously lots of birds, chickens, poultry, and you can pretty much get what you like, and if they haven't got it in, they'll get it in for you, which is why I like to use these companies. Keeps them busy. Also get my sunflower hearts for my wild birds in the garden from there, and it just helps them out, and it's really nice. It's only a short drive for me to go and get. Obviously depending on where you are on the planet and how far you've got to go, you'll have to alter that, but just try and keep it fresh. On the packet of seed, you probably noticed there was a date when it was manufactured, so I know it's not been sat around for a couple of years. It's pretty fresh, and that's what the birds want. Now with the additives that I put in the water, it varies from time to time. Fresh water's got to be done every day. Okay, with regards to water, fresh water every day. It's not hard to do, is it? It comes out of a tap, or yeah, it comes out of a tap. That's it. It's nice and easy. Just make sure that the drinkers are clean. I I've got lots and lots of spare drinkers, and every sort of 3-4 days they all come out, get changed, put new ones in. The other ones go in the washing up bowl, and I have a great time washing up. Um, I use various different size of drinkers as well. I've got a picture here. I shall probably slot in 3 different sizes. I've got the big clear one. So maybe I'm going away for a day or something, and you want to make sure that the bird's got plenty of water. That's great to use. Also, there's the middle-sized one, which is the one I use on a daily basis. More than enough water in there for a couple of days, but like I say, we change it every day anyway. Now, the smaller container you see there is what I use if I'm putting anything in, any additives in the water, such as S76, which is great for ridding the birds of any mite, or making sure that there are no mites on that bird, and it's nice and clean and healthy. It's an expensive product, so you only want to use as much as they're going to drink in a few hours. And at the end of the day, I will change that for the bigger one, and we go back to our normal water. So it's pointless throwing expensive chemicals away. After 8 hours, the S76 is rendered useless anyway, because it's only active for that amount of time. Also, I sometimes put in there a bit of calcium, just to boost that up for them. Vitamin D is something, actually wait for the next stock to come through, just ran out. Because these birds, I like to have them outside for a fair bit of the year when possible. When you're breeding, especially lizard canaries, you need to make sure you've got your pairs off. They can only be in their own cage. They haven't got that option to go outside at that time, so vitamin D is quite important. Make sure they get that in there. The herbazema I put in, it's just good for their digestive system and helps clean them out, and make sure that they're they're healthy inside. Also, sometimes when especially when the young are in the nest, which gets really warm, I'll put dextrose in the water. That helps electrolytes, etc. You'll see them flaked out over the side of the nest pan, the young, and they just need some. They're dehydrating if you're not careful. So make sure you get plenty of fluids in. Keep the birds healthy. Yeah, and that's what I put in the water. But make sure cleanliness with water is one of the main things. There's no excuse for having dirty water pots. They're as cheap as chips to buy. Just buy spares. Change them over once every hour. I sometimes do it every day during the summer. Empty the water, put the fresh ones in. It's no big deal, and it doesn't take long to do. I've got 28 cages in total, and it doesn't take more than 5 minutes to do the whole lot. So there's no excuse for not keeping your birds as healthy as possible when it comes to the fluid side of things. I do also add something a bit later on in the year, and it's called Caraful Red. This dyes the bird, it gives them their colour, and we'll do that later on in the year. I'll sometimes put it in some of the food, the colour, the Caraful, and I'll put it in the water. And when they molt their feathers, the new feathers come through with a different colour. And again, that's a great time of the year to see what you're getting from your birds. So that'll be talked about a bit more detail when we get nearer the time. So there we go. That's the food is all sorted there. Good mentions of the food, the water. It's nice and easy. It's just water, isn't it? If you can't give them fresh water, probably don't bother keeping birds, really. That's your best bet. Go and do something different. And now that leads us on to... Okay, the hat's on. The hat's got to come off. This should be bird watching at. What do you reckon? The birds, when they're flying around, they're not going to see my bald head shining. They're going to fly off. So I have to put a hat on. Taking my hat off to a gentleman by the name of Alan Jordan. Alan is the host of the International Lizard Canary Forum on Facebook, and he has over 3,000 members. And anything you need to know, head over to Facebook, get on the groups, The International Lizard Canary Forum is brilliant. Any questions you have, just read the topics that are on there at any one time. I think at the moment they're just discussing cinnamon canaries, and I think he was trying to source where people can probably get their show cages and show cage fronts. It's an international site of people from all over the world. It's more than just novices like myself. You've got champion breeders, you've got world champion breeders on there as well. So any questions you might want to answer, pop over there, go and ask Alan, tell him Mick sent you. Yeah. The International Lizard Canary Forum, absolutely brilliant for information, and you'll get loads of stuff on there. So head over, tell them Mick sent you, of course, and get on there and see what you find. Hopefully you'll get some great information. Anything you need to know, ask them. You can ask me. I should probably have to ask him on your behalf, but as a novice. But yeah, you'll learn so much. You'll see lots of photos of some cracking birds, and you'll get an idea of where you need to be if you want to show your birds, because these guys are the very best in the world. So get over to there, the International Lizard Canary Forum, and your man Alan Jordan. So okie dokie, that's everything at the minute for this episode. I'll just run a little clip of the birds in a cage from my canary cam, from my little technology I put in last week. Over the next few weeks we have got a lot to do. We've got 4 more weeks time. We're going to be looking, there's going to be birds breeding on the nest. Got a lot to do in that time. Got to sort out the who's going with who in what cages, rearranging a few, some of the birds going back outside, and the ones that are going to be breeding are going to be getting ready, and I shall show you what I do to get things ready in the bird room, ready for breeding. How I've decided who's going with who to keep bloodlines going strong, etc. And we'll see how we get on. But it's going to be a nice time over the next few weeks. So take care, everybody. Look after yourselves and get some birds. See you later.